Hey, Ante.
Yeah.
What do you know about how we met?
Oh, a little bit hazy.
We should talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Pull me in. Hey, everyone.
Welcome to the Waiting Room Podcast.
Episode number 1.
Number 1.
Long time in the making,
I
huh?
know. How many months?
Hitting about 3.
Sorry, we've been talking about it forever. And we're
Been
finally
talking a lot about
getting
it.
around to doing it now. Hi. Hello. Hi. What is your name?
My name's Ante.
My name's Rachel. It's nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Rachel.
We have to do this every
Ante.
time.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Oui.
All right, so
Yeah.
Ante, what are we going to talk about today?
So episode number 1. No one really knows us. Some people do.
Not yet.
Yeah. We're going to be talking about us, really. How we met. What are we doing? But yeah, how did we meet?
Well, I actually had to look back in my phone because I knew I had a photo from when we met, which is kind of a hint as to how we met. And it was this is very specific, but March 20th, 2019.
You've got notes.
Yeah,
Look at
I've
you.
got-
Someone's prepared, man, not me.
I've got notes. March 20th, 2019, and we met at a modeling gig because model. So we met at a modeling gig.
Yeah.
So for me, this modeling gig was introduced to me through a photographer friend of mine.
A mutual friend of ours. Eh?
Yes, mutual friend, because I'm assuming the same guy introduced.
Same guy.
Yeah. Shout out to Jinpei.
Jinpei.
So before I got introduced to the modeling gig, though, I was introduced to the project in a translator capability.
Because not everyone knows this yet, but Rachel's Nihongo is mechojozu.
Not everybody knows this yet because we haven't really said it.
We will get there, but
We live in Japan. We live in Hiroshima.
Mhm.
And I do translation work. And so he said that my Japanese is very good, very fluent. People there that don't hanasu the Nihongo.
I'm still reading children's books.
You go.
Anyway,
It's a step forward, right?
we'll do a few reviews on those another time, but anyway.
Oh, we should. We should. So anyway, I was introduced to this project by this company called Balcom. And Balcom runs the largest BMW dealership in Western Japan. I did research.
You did research.
I have
So
notes.
I've seen the name everywhere.
Yeah, you see it everywhere. And they own 7 restaurants, plus businesses abroad. They do a lot of CSR, which is corporate social responsibility. So like ecological drives, goodwill, sports events and activities, things like that.
It's everywhere, don't they?
They really do. And they also run car and motorcycle dealerships, notably like BMW.
Yep. I have seen BMW I've seen everywhere. The motorcycle one I've also seen. Yeah.
So they kind of have a lot of business in Hiroshima. And they decided, this is of course pre-COVID times, they decided, we got to get our hands on that inbound tourism money. So their idea was to pitch a food gourmet experience.
Not just for anybody, right?
No, for rich people. For probably rich white people, I'm assuming. And they decided that they were going to sort of have these rich people learn how to make Japanese cuisine under the watchful eye of a Japanese cuisine master. That was their grand plan. And so I translated the website that they had up at the time. I had to translate a bunch of PR stuff for it. And then I got asked by the photographer that we both know, Jinpei, if I would model for some PR photos. And I remember thinking, I don't have any clothes that are going to make me look like a rich white person. Like I have standard office wear as this kind of like collared shirt, whatever, but I don't look rich whatsoever. So I remember being very like stressed out about what I was going to wear.
Well, you know me by now. I'm literally a jeans and t-shirt guy every day.
Well, how did this offer come to you? How do you know Jinpei?
Junpei is a friend. Actually, yeah. How do I know Junpei? So I actually knew his uncle before he passed away.
That's weird.
He actually made one of the rings that I wear every day. It's like a little samurai mask thing. So that's how I know him.
Mhm.
And then, so I just got this message. Hey, can you do this modeling gig? And I'm like, I don't know. Can I? I think it was one of the first ones I've done. So
You've done a lot, to be
yeah.
fair.
And we've worked a lot together. So
You have.
yeah.
Yes,
That
you
makes
have.
things easier too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sent me the message and I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I can, but I'll try. Also, clothes. Jeans and
Exactly.
t-shirt guy, man.
That's
So it's
the
like,
problem.
I think I ended up wearing just jeans and I uncovered a button shirt.
Yeah, I think you had a nice button. No, we have a photo, which we'll put up later.
Yeah.
Photo will go up eventually, but I think you had a nice button down shirt.
You know what? I think I've used that shirt quite a few times.
It's a really good this is my nice shirt.
Yeah, exactly. So if there's probably a few different modeling gigs of me wearing
Wearing that exact same shirt.
it's like, how many years is this guy wearing this shirt?
Nobody will know unless
Or
they
I've
put
got
it all
like a
together.
cupboard with like 10 of them. Like, yeah, it's my
Solid.
only button-up shirt, man.
So yeah, when I heard the news, I said, all right, like sure, I'll do it, whatever. But I was told that I was going to be there's going to be another non-Japanese person there, and I didn't know it at the time because I didn't know you at all. Like we sort of run in similar communities, but not the same. And so when I got there, I was very like, who's this person going to be? Please let them be cool. Like we had to spend quite a few hours. It was
How many
quite a
hours
long
was it?
day.
Almost a full day, wasn't it?
I think it was like 4 or 5 hours.
5 hours, easy. You know, I remember saying the same thing to my wife just before I left. I'm like, fingers crossed, man. I hope this person's cool.
That's,
It's like that with a lot of these like modeling gigs. If you're going to spending hours
yeah.
with somebody, at least let them be down to earth and cool and relaxed.
Yeah, because you have to like smile and pretend you're talking a lot. And if you don't like vibe with the person, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
But if everything's cool, then you can just do it naturally and then
Yeah, you get better photos as well. And it was filmed at this like kitchen studio, which I don't know if kitchen studio is like one of those words that Japanese people made up or not, but it's just like a place where you have a really nice kitchen, and it's like really set up so that people can generally they go to watch how to cook something as like a demonstration. And so they filmed it in this kitchen studio, and I remember the chef. He was like the quintessential Japanese chef looking guy. You know, he had it wasn't like the traditional. He almost looked like how like your idea of like a sushi chef looks. You know, he had like the not quite.
my thought, yeah.
It wasn't like the kimono. It's like the kimono jacket kind of thing that like the sushi chefs wear and stuff. Like he looked very like crisp, white, presentable.
No, pretty much that was it. What you think a Japanese chef looks like, that was him.
That's what he looked like. Yeah. And I remember being dropped off at the kitchen studio by Junpei, and I was like, all right, let's see who's working with me today.
Yeah.
And you want to talk about first reactions?
First reaction.
Do I want to hear about what you thought about me at first?
Nothing too special. It's just like, okay.
Oh, I'm nothing too special.
Oh, no, you know what I'm got. Come on.
All right.
Relax, man. Oh, no. First of all, it was just that whole thing is like, hi, how you doing? And then it's just like, okay, my usual check. Seems normal. Check one. Then, well, we're there for like what? 4 or 5 hours.
There for a long time. Yeah.
Peeling back the layers. And then it's like, oh, okay. Start talking music and stuff like that. Oh, okay. Into similar music and stuff.
There was like a record player.
Yeah. We were talking about
in the kitchen studio.
Right. Yeah. So we started talking a bit about vinyl and stuff.
Yeah.
And me and Rachel are pretty geeky, but I don't think we hit the geek level yet.
Yeah, I thought that you like mentioned something about The Simpsons or something similar.
That's possible. Yeah.
Because I remember there was something there was like, okay, maybe he's kind of geeky. I don't know. But I remember thinking you were very tall because you are. How tall are you?
What? 83. 183. Yeah.
Yeah, very tall. For all of you people that are not on the metric system, please convert it in your head because I can't do it. Sorry.
183 is actually, I think, perfect for in Japan because I can just make it through some doorways. Like we're in my office now. Yeah. There's been times I've almost hit the top of the doorway. I got some friends, actually, we'll probably hear from him another day, maybe in the future, but do you know Mendel?
Yes.
He's like, what, 190?
He's very tall.
Yeah, when he comes to my office, I think the door comes up to like his shoulders. I'm pretty happy with 183 centimeters. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember thinking you were very tall and that you were friendly. And I was like, oh, thank God he's like chill.
I try not to be a dick.
Very, very chill. So I was like, okay, like this will probably be fine. But I get really nervous and like I get really like not not anxiety, but like I'm really not great at like meeting people for the first time where I don't know them. And so I was really like, I think I was probably trying to like be as friendly and like, I promise you I'm not like a weirdo person.
No, you didn't come across strange at all. So that was pretty cool. And again, going to be there for a few hours.
Yeah, because it was like, we got there in the afternoon. It was dark when we left. I remember it was quite a long day. So like we kind of go through this day where we're watching the chef make really like delicious looking food.
What did they make? I think it was a tempura at one
remember like
stage.
tempura, sashimi, which is just like raw fish that's cut. I think they made like freshly made sushi.
Yeah.
And I believe they did something with ʀᴏᴏ, which is it's a Hiroshima specialty. It's conger eel. It's like a real delicacy, and I feel like I remembered them doing something with that.
Guys, don't let eel put you off. Like if you've never tried it, eel in Japan is pretty good.
Eel's really good. It's like, how would you describe what eel tastes like to somebody who's never had eel before?
I don't know, but all I can say is for most food, because most of the time I eat it, it's like charcoal, right?
Yeah.
Almost like barbecue.
Like grilled, yeah.
Anything cooked on charcoal. Great. So if you get the chance, come to Japan. Don't say no to the eel, man. Good.
Because there's two types of eel, right? So there's the freshwater eel and saltwater eel. Saltwater eel is the conger eel, which is eaten quite often here in Hiroshima. The freshwater eel is more like the unagi eel.
Always get them mixed up.
And they're really, it's almost like a white fish kind of taste, but they grill it and they have this nice sauce that they put on it.
Yeah.
Sort of like sweet and savory. So it's really like, it's really delicious, trust me.
This is great. I think I had an English friend that was telling me about like, I think that's one of their famous dishes.
Jellied eel.
Eel, yeah. And then it's kind of like, no.
It's like the old timey British cuisine, like jellied eel was like a thing. Because they used to catch eel in like the rivers. Like not the Thames, I don't think, but like I remember reading up on it because I was like, why would anybody choose to serve eel in a jellied manner? But no, whatever floats your boat.
Ye old eel.
Yeah, ye old eel. So we had not ye old eel.
We didn't.
They had eel that they were preparing, and I could not remember for the life of me. The only thing I remembered that they really made was I remember they had to take several takes of them doing the tempura.
Right. Yep.
And like they would put the batter onto the shrimp, you know, and they had the cameras like on the guy doing the thing.
Yeah, that's right. Different angles, yeah.
And then they're like, okay, now put it into the vat of hot oil, and he's like, all right. So he puts it into the vat, and it kind of, it does the whole sizzle, and it looks really nice. And then I remember he took it out, and they have the cut of him holding it with the chopsticks, which there's a specific name for that cut in Japanese because they do it on Japanese TV and news a lot. It's called hashiage, which means to lift something with your chopsticks.
Have a slight vibrate in your hand. I've always loved that.
It's really, when you see them do it though, when you go behind this, because I've been on local Japanese TV quite often, and a lot of their food stuff I've seen, and whenever they do it, they have the person holding the chopsticks, and then they're also supporting their elbow with their other arm so it doesn't shake. It's like this whole thing, and they're like all holding their breath. They're just like, we just need you like to be still for like 2 seconds.
How often though do you not see the shake though?
Usually you do see the shake. It's really difficult.
It's gonna happen. It vibrates through.
Exactly.
And then the food just does
yeah. So like they brought it out of the oil, and then they're like, okay, we need you to put it back in again because we need more of the sizzling sort of bit. And I'm like, but he already took it out of the oil. It's already done. Like, why are you doing this again? And he had to do this like several times. And I'm like, this poor guy.
Sizzle has already happened, people.
Yeah, this poor guy is like a professional chef. He's probably not too keen on having to do this a bunch of times. And of course, we don't get to actually eat any of the food until like way later when it's like beyond cold at this point. And they had this teeny tiny little table. Do you remember the table?
Yeah, that's it.
The table was like probably because
far away from you?
We were really close together.
Yeah, it's like
and over this teeny tiny little table with like the food on it, and we were our cue was like, okay, now look like you're having a conversation and laughing and smiling, which is like the worst cue because you're like, what are we supposed to say?
What do I want to say? Yeah.
Like, wow, I'm really enjoying this food that we're not really eating.
those guys listening in, yeah. So we're probably like literally, 30 to 40 centimeters away.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Also,
Yeah.
people listening in, but
It's a
a little bit awkward.
teeny tiny table.
I mean, we already kind of got along, but we're still like on a just met you basis.
Literally met you earlier today, and she's like, "So, how you liking this weird experience that we have to go through?"
Yeah. How do you like this food that was cooked hours before?
And like after it was done, you remember they had the food left over, right? So they were like, "You can eat whatever you want, like have at." And I was just like, "Yum, leftover food."
Okay. I don't know. Bit of an experience.
Yeah, but that was how we actually ended up meeting for the first time.
Yeah.
And
we found like we didn't have that many mutual friends.
Not at the time. I think because at that point in my life, I had just changed jobs. So it was a different job. I don't think I was living in the city. No, I was living in the city. I just changed jobs. And I hadn't really had a lot of like time to like do the whole social thing in Hiroshima City for reasons that we'll get into on a later podcast.
Right, we won't go into it too much now, but
yeah.
How long have you been in Hiroshima now? You're practically furniture.
Yeah, I've been here for 16 years.
I'm coming up to 6. So when I met you, I was probably already here for about 2 years, but I was traveling on and off a lot, so I knew a few people. But I think we realized we only knew about 2 or 3 mutual friends at the time.
Yeah. And those like mutual friends kind of like over time just sort of gradually like expounded. But at the time, because like I remember we hung out for the modeling gig. And I'm trying to think of when did we hang out next? When did we see each other next?
I think the next one was, correct me if I'm wrong, because it kind of works into the name of the podcast.
Was that really?
Possibly that gig. Before we go into that though, you had a little bit of a tidbit for the Balcom,
right,
the guys
company. So this company, which still has a massive amount of businesses, restaurants, overseas stuff, or dealerships. They also had this little like bar / sort of inn that they were trying to that they had in. I used to go to like the bar place because it was like quite nice. You can get a drink, you can get some snacks, whatever. And one of the guys running it was the son of the CEO of Balcom at that time. And so I was like, oh, like I know Balcom, like I did this thing for them. And then maybe about a month or so before we were deciding to like record the podcast, and I was looking back at all the like the paperwork that I had from Balcom and all the translation stuff that I did, and I remember seeing on Twitter that the guy that I met, the son of the CEO, had taken over the company to become CEO. So he was the CEO, and then he got arrested.
That's right. And that's recent. What did he do?
So he got arrested for trying to take upskirt photos of a girl on his iPhone.
You do, people.
As you do.
Yeah.
And so he got arrested, and then I think he was either like still under because the police system in Japan, when you're arrested, there's a lot of, it's very bizarre. So they can kind of keep you there for a really long time without pressing charges.
Isn't it's like 3 to 4 weeks, kind of roughly 20-something days?
But but so in the period of him being arrested, he was also arrested again for a very trivial amount of marijuana that was on his person. So not looking too good for Balcom at the moment. I think they fired him actually after he got arrested the first time. He had to he obviously stepped down as CEO because
son of Balcom. I'm sure he's on the streets.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
So, it's a weird thing about how that kind of came back around. And like this guy's young. He's like in his 30s. He's probably like 35 or 36.
Okay.
And
the guy that owns Balcom, he's doing okay, I think.
It's just like, interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Marijuana, upskirt, shots, living on the edge.
Yeah, he really is living on the edge. You never know what these people do. Yeah.
That takes us in. So I was talking about the next time we hung out, which I think was quite a bit in between, right?
It was a bit in between.
Yeah. So we got along the first gig, but not enough to be friends.
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't say we weren't friends. It's just life gets in the way. you know.
But I think it was a while.
It was a while.
That was the TV. Remember it?
So I do a lot of stuff for local Hiroshima TV. Hiroshima has 4 TV stations, which is a lot for a prefecture.
We got
So there's TSS, RCC, Home TV, and then there's Hirotere.
I only know 2 of them. I don't watch too much of the TV here, so.
So like I was working with, oh god, which of the companies was he from?
One I believe was TSS.
I was gonna say I think it's TSS. I was working with this guy, super friendly guy, right? And he and I were working on subtitles for a documentary about the RERF. And the RERF used to be the ABCC, which is the Atomic Bomb Casualty Commission, which was run jointly between the U.S. Well, at first just by the U.S. government, and then jointly by the U.S. and Japanese government to sort of survey the effects of the bombing on the atomic bombing on the victims, from ages like very young kids all the way up. And the ABCC did a lot of very questionable things, including not providing any care for the patients. Just
it was
like,
more effective, like, okay, let's come in and do our research.
like, okay, like come in, get your blood taken, you know, get yourself measured, all that, so we can see how this radiates for kids, especially. It was like, can we see how it's affecting them growing up? They did a lot of very questionable things. And then they renamed themselves to the Radiation Effects Research Foundation, the RERF.
Right.
And so TSS was doing a documentary on the ABCC and RERF and all the things that they did. And they asked me to interpret like an interview between the head of the RERF and the TSS guy, which is very uncomfortable for me.
People in Australia, it was kind of, that documentary is kind of like a 60 minutes program. In a way, it's kind of like a 60 minutes documentary.
Yeah.
Did have some interviews in there, a little bit of fake footage where we came in as actings. Yeah, reenactments.
Yeah. So while I was doing this translation of all the things, they were like, hey, we want to reenact a scene where a young girl is told to go into an auditorium and take off all of her clothes so that the doctors can get a look at her. This young girl. And she wasn't told that was what was going to happen. So she's kind of like obviously humiliated and confused. And our job was to play.
Yeah, I was
You were the doctor. I was the nurse.
Because back then, only male doctors.
Yeah. Yeah.
How it was back then.
It's just the way it was. So I got to play the nurse. You got to play the doctor taking photos, and then also we shot a scene where they're taking like spinal fluid.
It was spinal fluid,
from one of the.
And there's a close-up shot of my face holding a syringe.
Yeah, really, really scary close-up shot.
Yeah, like.
Did you know that documentary's online? You can find.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've probably got some footage somewhere, but it's a little bit blurry. Because I think I was taping it off the TV.
It's on. I'll send you the website.
It's link, because guys, we'll actually put, if we can find them, as we're talking, photos like here maybe and stuff, and Instagram people will pop it up there as well. But I do remember having like a real ominous yellowish filter.
Yeah, very. And I look really terrifying.
Yeah, evil nurse.
Extremely terrifying. Yeah. Like even I was like, why am I making that face? Like I didn't have to go that hard.
I was worried. It's like, they're going to show this on TV. People are going to recognize me in the street. Like, am I going to be chased or something? People
evil doctor
throwing stones.
Yeah.
It's not. It was just an act. Nah.
Yeah, I remember that they were looking for. The reason I got you involved was because they were like, okay, well, we need a doctor and a nurse, and they were like, do you know anybody? And I was like, for people who don't know me, I don't have like a huge. At that time, I didn't have a huge connection to like the international community, and so I was like, who do I know who is a male and not Japanese who can help me out with this? And I was like,
hey,
Ante.
Hey, it was me.
Yeah. So I think I asked you, and you said yes, and it's like, oh, thank God, because we really needed someone, and they gave us like lab coats. That was really fun.
Yeah,
really
it
nice
looked
to wear
like
a lab
full
coat.
scientist doctor look, but I wear glasses now, but not then.
Yeah.
I would have totally looked the part.
I had glasses on for that. I had glasses on.
I almost said no to that as well.
Why?
Well, see, people that don't know me that well, it's like, I'm actually quite a shy person too. So
I remember you mentioning
these
that.
things coming up is a bit like, I'm like, I want to do them, but at the same time, I'm like,
I wanna...
and then it's like, eh.
I'm really glad you said
Then
yes.
there's always that thing in the back of my head that does the whole, you know what, just do it. Because what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
Got some funny photos out of it in the end.
And you got paid.
How you look at it.
And you got paid.
Now when they come up, the whole thing's like, I'm still nervous and stuff about them. But then I think about, because I've got my little one now, she's 2-year-old. And I think, you know what, she'll get a good laugh out of this one.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll think, Dad was cool.
Like, Dad, what were you doing? Well, you've done a lot of like modeling, photography stuff. What's the most interesting modeling gig you've done?
Most interesting one? Hard question.
Or like
Not the most.
the roughest one.
Well, the roughest one was actually one that I wanted you to come along on, but too busy.
No, it's cool. Sorry.
Yep. That was up in out in the mountains, and so that was a whole 2-day shoot,
Mm-hmm.
and it kept getting pushed back. Like, we're doing it this weekend.
One does.
And this weekend.
I remember you asked me a few times.
Like,
I
because
was like,
it
for the
kept getting
same gig?
It's like, yeah, it's been pushed back. You sure? You sure? Which we ended up getting a Rachel. It wasn't you, though.
Different Rachel.
So they had a camera crew come in from Tokyo. It was like an 8-person crew.
Well, they're quite serious
I've
about
never, yeah. Like, I like camera equipment and stuff, but I don't know much about it. The stuff that they had,
They got the good stuff.
yeah. But the roughest part of it, all right, so I didn't complain about it at the time.
But you're going to complain about it now.
Let me complain, because that's what people want to see.
Yeah.
Us whining.
I do it all the time. It's part of my charm.
So here we go. I had a massive head cold the day before. Not something you need.
No.
No one needs to know about it anyway. However, it's like, we need to go to the top of a mountain. When I'm in a mountain, this trek, I've done a trek to the top of this mountain for a different modeling gig.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it took about not even 40 minutes on a good day. It took us a good hour and a half in the snow.
In the uphill.
In the snow.
In the snow.
Uphill. So yeah, no, that wasn't fun. Which we did even encounter a bit of like bear piss, like all over. It's like, hang on, are they awake? It was a little bit later. The snow's melting, and we're like,
so they brought you not only to a frozen mountain, but they also brought you to a place where there were possibly bears. What kind of modeling gig was this? How to avoid bear attacks?
so yeah, bears possibly around, but luckily they weren't. Like, I remember the guides, they're like, we got bear mace so we can spray them, and they also had their bells, because most,
Comforting.
yeah, they had the loud bells at walking, because most animals don't want to meet you.
Yeah.
If they hear you coming, they're going to scamper off, or bear case, lumber off. I don't know what they do. Depends on the size. Yeah,
Lumber sounds appropriate.
So finally, after getting to the top of this mountain, we saw nobody on this trek. And
Oh, yeah, in the
down,
snow.
we're like, we're going to set up a drone shot. Okay, just sit down over there. Take your time.
In the snow. Just sit down in the snow.
Sit down, it's fine. It was a good view, though. Out of nowhere, this guy probably looked to be in his 80s, emerged out of the forest. I mean, hiking.
It was his piss.
Yeah, maybe it was. Possibly, man. But we're thinking, it's like, he just came out and then just sat next to us. And we're like, first of all, we didn't see, where
Who
did
are
this
you?
guy come from? Merged. Like, was he a spirit? Actually, I remember telling my nephew this story, and he's a bit of a gamer. And he's like, Ante, what? I think you found the secret boss. I was like, all right,
He's
man.
the NPC trying to give you a quest.
What? Yeah, did you hear any like music start? It's like the boss battle. Like, no. But yeah, so he sat there for a good 10 minutes. The crew's got
Just
their
not
drone shot.
saying anything?
He said hi and that. He's just, sitting down. We're still trying to figure out where he came from.
Yeah.
Down. The people are being nice about it. They're, ready to take the shot. They waited a good 15 minutes, and then they're like, "Excuse me, yeah,
Could you not?
could you just go away?"
Could you just a little bit over?
In a nice way, and he did. He back into the forest, never to be seen again. Until actually,
Oh.
again, going back to just the head cold thing. It's like almost as we got to the top, it's like, I can hear my heartbeat. In my
Oh
head.
no.
Meanwhile, one of the guides, like he's in his mid-20s. I know him. He's a good friend as well. And he turned around to me. It's not that he could hear my heartbeat, but he actually is like...
I mean, that would be very
Yeah,
concerning if
yeah.
he saw like blood shooting out of your ears.
Yeah, no. Earblood's not good. But no, he turned around and he's like, we're near the top. He's like, oh man, this is a hell of a climb in the snow. He's like, can you hear your heartbeat? And I'm like, yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Like my head felt like it was throbbing. That we got through that chute. It took most of the day to get up and then also getting back
So
down.
were they just taking photos of you climbing a mountain? Like what was
Photos
the
and
purpose
videos.
of
It was for Japanese tourism. I forget the name of the main
tourism agency?
Yeah, they deal with like the main Japanese tourism agency. That was over a weekend, so we ended up doing some other shots, but I could not wait to get to the hotel just to like just go to sleep.
Yeah.
It was killing me, but
Yeah.
like it was fun and adventurous, but if I didn't have that head cold, it would have been the fact that we had to drive up to this mountain though, and we couldn't get to the base of the mountain because of the snow. So we had to actually get out of the cars, walk a good half an hour on the road that was in the snow.
Oh God.
Already at a good angle, then get to the base of the mountain, and then more.
And already.
Yeah, I was literally going every just step of the way, doing the, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it.
Just one more step.
It was just one
One
more
more
step,
step.
one more step. Yeah, I don't know, man, but I don't know. I'll try and think of some other stories for some other episodes, but that was definitely one of the hardest. And you were supposed to be, not supposed to, but I wanted you on that one, but I'm kind of glad you didn't come along.
I was going to say, now that I've heard that, I'm really glad that I think I had something else going on that weekend.
Yeah. And
I remember I was contacted by a few people about that job, and I was like, I can't, sorry.
You know what? Be happy. Be happy you had something on.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have. I don't think they would have got all the photos that would have gotten me have been like me going like.
That and that, again, that was another wardrobe thing as well, because made jeans and t-shirts. We had to send photos of what clothes we're bringing and that, which most was okay. But then
did you have proper like snow gear?
They actually did give us some stuff that would help, like boots and a good jacket.
Very helpful.
And and then a lot of my other stuff has brands on it.
So you can't use a lot of the brands.
Yeah. So it's like a lot of tape just to cover up anything. Like it wasn't too big.
Yeah.
Cover up the brand on the bag, cover up this, cover up that.
But like, what was their? I'm trying to like figure out what their angle was. They're like, hey, come and climb this mountain in the snow.
Yeah.
That's their whole angle.
And look out for old men and bears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like a really great sell.
And I haven't even seen the main video from it. I've only seen the short clip, which again, I'll try and post it if I've got any photos. We'll put them up. But
I love how they never send you the finished stuff unless you ask for it. They like hound them for it.
And that's how I got it too. I actually asked because it's like, I want to see it.
Yeah. You went through it. Really? They should.
I felt it that, you know what? It definitely wasn't worth the pay that weekend. I'll tell you that.
That's a whole weekend's worth of work.
Yeah.
That's like what? Two 6-hour days, 2 8-hour days?
Oh, yeah.
2 8-hour days. How much did you get paid for that, if you don't mind me asking?
You know what? It was probably only close to about 3.
So like, we're going to put 3 into context.
In context.
I'm not going to use the dollar because the dollar rate is shit right now. So let's go with Australian dollars.
Australian dollars, let's say about 300 and a bit.
300, yeah. And you stayed at a hotel for the night.
Yeah, that was all paid for. They pay for all the food and everything else that you need.
But for all of your troubles, here's $300. Thanks. No, thank you.
Also, because we did 2-day shot, and the next day I was first time I did my first nude scene.
Oh my!
Right.
Oh my!
Nude scene in a Japanese bath.
I don't think we can show that.
No. The angles were okay, but it wasn't supposed to be a nude scene. You know that?
Did they lie to you? Were they like, oh no, you can wear a bathing suit. It's totally fine.
Okay. How about you just lower it a bit?
Yeah, just.
Oh, there it goes. No. So basically, it was a really nice. What do you call it? Rotemburo.
So like an outdoor hot spring.
Inside outdoor one. This one's a really nice one.
Inside outside,
kind of, yeah. So they had the camera crew in there. Directors outside.
All 8 people.
No, not all 8. There was about probably I don't know why they even needed the sound guy in there. So sound guy, photographer. I think he just wanted to be in there.
Like, I'm getting the water sounds. Yep.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Anyway, yeah, 3 guys in there. A few other guys are out doing their other stuff. And the director, he had his cool little screen that was like a little Wii.
Oh, yeah.
So you can just, from outside,
The
you can hear him,
monitors. I
yeah.
love those.
And they're like, they got the angles right. All right, taping. And then they're like, they said, it's okay, you can just wear your underwear. It's all good. I'm wearing black underwear. And they're like, the angle, they're like, all right, stop. Yeah, we're getting the black shimmer on the water. It's just not right. Here's this white towel. Can you just kind of lay it over you under the water? And it's like, okay. Take 2. Yeah, no, we're still getting it. And like,
So you're just sitting there in the hot spring. Are you doing the like
yeah, trying to
splash
look
the
all
water
relaxed. It was, you know,
on your shoulder? That's like a classic move.
trying to look relaxed. Not seductive, relaxed.
Yeah.
But it's a tourism ad. So I don't know where else the ad's going to go. But anyway. But yeah, so like we can still see the shimmer on the water. And I was like, well, I enjoy hot springs anyway. I'm used to not, just being the full nude, not a problem. So I told them, guys, it's okay.
So you volunteered. You volunteered.
We're kind of going that way
You're
anyway.
like, guys, let's not do this song and dance anymore. I know you want to see it.
That's what it came down to. I'm like, guys, if you want, I can. And they're like, can you?
Can you? We'd really appreciate seeing you
When they asked,
entirely
can you,
naked.
like, I was already holding my underwear in my hands. And like,
Woo!
hey. But, no. So I'm interested to see. Maybe that's why I haven't seen the full thing.
They're like, we can't use
We
this.
can't use this. No.
Too much.
They definitely use that ad somewhere else. And I'm not getting any royalties.
That's the thing when you do freelance assignments with video and or photos. A lot of the times, not all the time, but a lot of the times I've found in my own experience, I am never told where it is being used or where it ends up unless I really hound them for it, which I think is I don't know if I've never done modeling anywhere else. I've never done video stuff anywhere else. So I don't know if this is a Japan thing or like a rest of the world thing. Tell us your thoughts, chime in. But yeah, you never really know where it's going to be used. And then sometimes I'll see other friends. So the friend you mentioned before, Mendel, I was in downtown Hiroshima and they have this big shopping center called Motomachi Cred. And they have this massive screen that shows like commercials. They do public viewings there. And I remember they did a commercial for like tourism in the Hiroshima Setouchi area. And it was Mendel on a boat with this girl, just like, I'm on a boat. Look at me, just speeding down the ocean. And I was just like, that's Mendel.
I know that guy.
Yeah, it's also this, it pops up in weird places.
Isn't that funny too? Because like there's a few people that I know that have done a few like acting gigs or little for commercials and that. Yeah. And then like you see them on TV and it's like,
hey,
I
know that person.
Yeah, recently. Someone else. But it's like, hey, I know this person.
So
it's funny though. It's like you get some interesting gigs. Some are fun, some are strange, some are hard.
We'll have to talk about.
I want to hear like anyone else, not even people living in Japan, even overseas. Has there been any strange like modeling gigs that you've done? Yeah, let us know anyway.
Oh, so where can they let us know?
They let us know. Well, if you're watching us on YouTube or on Rumble, pop it in the comments. Instagram, we are at the handle.
We are at the waiting room JPN.
Yep, so you can
make sure you add the JPN on the end. You'll see our lovely logo up there, so you know it's us. You can also email us at thewaitingroomjpn@gmail.com. Same handle as the Instagram. And if you're on Rumble or YouTube, you can totally leave us a comment. If you want to find us on YouTube, our handle is
also Waiting Room JPN.
Isn't that funny how that works out? All the same. We try to make it easy for you guys. As easy as possible.
Also time for the shameless plug.
Oh yeah.
Always wanted to say it, but I'll let you say it first. I might say it later on.
I'm so
enjoying it.
This. Ready? Please like and subscribe to our channel. And hit that bell notification button so you don't miss a post.
I'll work it out. There'll be a thing that comes up and does the whole graphic.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that. It'll be somewhere around here.
Work it out.
Yeah, so definitely please like and subscribe. We are going to talk about a lot of things.
Moving on to now, the pod itself.
Pod, yeah. How did this pod come to be?
How did it come to be after 3 months of talking?
Constantly talking about it in a list of topics I'd like to speak about.
Well, it
But
goes over 3 months for me personally.
yeah, you've had this
Like,
in your head in a while. Yeah.
well, even like, living in the age of social media, and there's so many different platforms. And I've always said, like, and even a few other friends, like, I wouldn't mind doing like a channel or something, but it's always, what would I do?
There you go.
I don't know. And I don't think I'd be, I don't know, interesting, just me by myself. And
Oh, come on,
then,
let me sit down on yourself.
that's all the help I can get. But then it was a few months ago,
Mhm.
Another friend of mine, who's a very big fan of Iron Maiden, he just messaged me. He's like, "Hey, Ante, do you like Iron Maiden?" And I'm like, "I like him. I don't know too much about him." He's like, "Perfect.
Yeah.
Like, hang on. You want to do a podcast with me?" I was like, "But I don't know much about him." I was like, "No, I know a lot. I know a lot. I love him. It'll make the topic, interesting.
Yeah.
You don't know that much. I know a lot. We'll listen to stuff together." So again, okay, why not?
Yeah.
Living in the age of why not, just do it.
Exactly.
So went into it. I didn't realize I'd be enjoying making that podcast as much as I did.
What is the name of that podcast?
That podcast, we're getting another shameless plug,
Shameless
is
self-promotion.
Listen to Iron Maiden Baby. So that's on Spotify and a whole bunch of other. I'll put the link down.
Listen
And
to
that-
Iron Maiden,
Which,
baby.
if people can see the background, I've got a nice copy of one of the Iron Maiden LPs.
Iron Maiden.
A little nod to the other podcast and to Ashley, our friend.
Yeah, shout out to
Might
Ashley.
make an appearance at one stage.
Would be
We'll
fun.
see. Yeah.
I've never actually met Ashley, so
Okay. We can talk about Iron Maiden that time. But yeah, I didn't think I'd enjoy it as much, and I really did. And then I'm sitting there,
what did you enjoy about podcasting?
no, because I wasn't doing much of the production work, but I did learn a lot through Ashley, and like
Mhm.
that seemed like a fun aspect of it too. And it just felt fun just having a chat with someone and recording it, and maybe someone might find it interesting. And I'm like, I want to do another one. And I thought, okay, let's do another one. Who am I going to do that with? And then I was talking to my wife, because she's like, nope, she's, not too happy with her English. She's like, no, I'm not going to do it. I was like, all right, you know what,
She's
fair
like,
enough.
No.
And then I mentioned to her, and she straight away agreed. She's like, hey, why don't you ask Rachel? I'm like, yeah, but Rachel's really busy.
Yeah, that's kind of why it
let's
took the whole 3
see.
months to get this thing off the ground.
Exactly.
Sorry, guys.
That's both of us, all right? So, yeah. So, yeah, I think we're at dinner. There's a whole bunch of us, and obviously Rachel's there. And I'm talking
Obviously.
to Rachel, and I'm going, so, because thankfully she's listening to the Iron Maiden podcast.
Yep.
Really appreciate that. Thank you. And I went, so, I'm thinking of doing another podcast, a different one with someone else. And she's like, yeah. And I said, we'll talk about, things about Japan and maybe, our other geeky stuff.
Mhm.
She's like, yeah, sounds really good. And then so I said, and I'm thinking of doing it with you, which thankfully, if I remember it correctly,
Yeah.
was no hesitation. Yes.
Yeah, because I listened to a bunch of podcasts. I really enjoy podcasts, and I've always kind of wanted to do, because I've kind of done a little bit of stuff on YouTube. I do Instagram. If anybody doesn't know, I'm the Hiroshima food snob. Shameless plug here. The Hiroshima food snob on like everything essentially. Except the spelling is really weird on Twitter because it's too many letters. So I had to like drop the vowels from Hiroshima. Yeah, it's weird. But
Hiroshima.
yeah, it's Hiroshima food snob.
Mm.
But so I do a lot of stuff with video. I do video editing. And I really enjoyed it and I got really into it, but then I just got really busy and it all kind of fell by the wayside. And I was like, well, if it's a podcast, and like thankfully Ante has been doing all the lovely commercials that you've seen for our podcast. He's been running the
Having a lot of
social
fun putting
media.
those together. So.
So it's a lot of it where I felt less pressure because I didn't really have to do much other than get a decent set of headphones, essentially. So it took the pressure off me a lot, which I was like, okay, this is something I can say yes to and feel good about it because like I don't have to like be social media manager and this, that, and the other. I can just kind of have a chat. And we don't really get to hang out a lot.
No, so it's another good excuse.
Yeah.
Just, yeah.
So to hang out and chat about our lives.
Missing on the good old days.
Yeah. Before COVID. Yeah. The good old days.
Oh, wow, man. Actually feels like quite a while now.
It weirdly does feel like a very long time ago.
Yeah.
And it was, quite 4 years ago when we first met. And a lot has changed, especially for you. You have a child. You have
The result of not being able to go anywhere.
you have a tiny human being who's so adorable.
Oh, man,
I can't wait to have her on the podcast.
a little devil. She's good value. The entertainment value is awesome. That one. But, she's that entertaining. It's okay if you soil your pants. I don't care. You're funny.
He's entertaining.
Yeah. Thing is, I soil my pants. Nobody laughs.
Slightly. See, she's really cute though.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Get away with it.
She really can.
She's doing training at the moment, slowly.
Really?
It's not,
How's it going?
No, she just wants to, we've got that little thing that you can kind of put on top of the toilet.
The tiny toilet that sits on the toilet.
On the toilet?
Yeah.
You like sitting on it. And it's like, all right, so you're going to use it? Like, I'm done. I didn't do anything.
But I sat on the thing.
Yeah, no, I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any kids, but I remember my mom told me a story about when she was trying to because I have a twin brother. Shout out to Matt if you're watching / listening. I have a twin brother, and I don't remember how we got on this topic, but she was like, when we were trying to potty train you guys, we would feed you goldfish crackers and apple juice, because apple juice makes you kind of want to go to the bathroom, right? So she was just like, I remember that she spent a weekend or whatever, and just it was like apple juice and goldfish crackers all the time to make us want to go to the bathroom as much as possible.
Apple juice makes you pee, or a whole bunch of apple juice makes you?
I think apple juice kind of makes you. I don't know if it's a diuretic in that sense that it scientifically makes you pee, but I think it does. Okay. Or maybe that's just because I was ingrained with that idea, because that was how I was potty trained. Where apple juice makes you pee.
Too much beer makes me pee.
Too much of any liquid, I think, generally. But yeah, that was how apparently I was potty trained. And if my dad is listening to this and can corroborate my story, feel free to have at, because that was all I remember being told randomly. They'd be like, yeah, we did it over a weekend. I'm like, oh, what a fun weekend project, potty training your kids.
What? Over a weekend, as in now she's done, be free?
Yeah, okay, you get the gist of it, right?
Okay.
Yeah, that was apparently how it went down with me. But it seems like a daunting...
It was pretty quick.
Seems like a daunting process. Yeah. I honestly can't wrap my head around it. You have to teach this tiny human. Your daughter's 2 years old. You teach this 2-year-old who they do what they want.
Right.
They'll look at you and they're offer you a cracker, and then they sort of pull their hand back and go somewhere else. And you're like, I thought we were doing a thing. Exactly. How do you teach?
Busy going over there now.
How do you teach this tiny human being that this is the place where you go to the bathroom? Yeah.
My wife's doing really good with. I'm pretty much middle management.
Middle management.
Yeah, that's how I see it. Nobody listens to me, and that's coming from the boss. Yeah, or down the wrong as well. Yeah, I'm just middle management.
You're just in your corner with your paperwork.
I try.
You go.
Be part of the team, but that's about it. But anyway, back to the pod.
Yeah,
this is what happens on podcasts. You just always kind of veer off, which is what I like about them too. You just start talking about weird things like maybe he's
potty training
your
child. Yeah. Exactly. So that's why you had a pretty busy 4 years with having were you married or engaged when we first met?
I was already married.
You were already married. Okay, so you're already married, and then obviously kid comes along, so that keeps you quite busy with life in general. I had a roller coaster of new job, moving, lots of other things going on, especially now last year, probably once Japan opened back up after COVID, and how inbound tourism has really just skyrocketed.
Yeah.
So it's been a busy 2 years, which is really good, but also just leaves you with very little time to hang out and do things.
Why the pod's good for us to get together and just have a chat.
Yeah.
It's funny going back to the COVID things. I always feel like I'm doing things a little bit too late. Because I know there's a lot of people that started either a social media YouTube channel or a podcast when COVID happened.
Yeah. We had nothing else to do.
Well, it's already passed. It's finished. And it's like, oh, I'm going to do it now. It's like,
well,
I'm only a few years late to it, but hey.
Better late than never.
Yeah, we got there. But what are we going to talk about? This is only the first episode. We're just introducing ourselves. But going on, what are we or what aren't we going to talk about?
Well, I know that you and I both really love films, lots of films, music
Hmm?
for sure. So, I mean, I'm sure that our tastes are quite different
Yeah.
when it comes to films and music. So I think it'd be
Makes things
fun,
more interesting.
yeah, to sort of like introduce, like, our all-time favorite films and what we liked and what we don't like and things like that. I would obviously love to talk about Hiroshima because Hiroshima is my
I think, yeah, the whole,
favorite place in Japan.
definitely mine as well. I'm not going anywhere. I think Hiroshima's stuck with me, so sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Hopefully means a lot more podcast episodes as well.
Yeah.
But I think that's also another thing that will kind of stick on as a kind of main latch on theme, kind of like, yeah, Japan, Hiroshima,
Yeah.
our life.
Because we haven't even talked about how we ended up here in Hiroshima, which I think is
Which we might have to go on to the next episode.
yeah, I think that'd be a really good episode for us to talk about because we both have very different stories as to how we ended up here in Hiroshima, which people who probably know the name Hiroshima, but not a lot of people I think know where it actually is on a map. Because you get like when there's an earthquake in Tokyo, you get people on like Facebook or whatever messaging you like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "The Tokyo's very far away.
I can feel it. Yeah,
More
we're
than
very
fine."
far away.
So Hiroshima, where it is, what its characteristics are, what's so great about it, what makes it so great, because we wouldn't be like living here if it wasn't great. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I mean, because, and this is not putting other cities down, but a lot of people, especially for tourists, when they come to Japan, it's mainly Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto.
The big main three.
Fair enough. Like, I probably did the same when I first came. And we'll talk about our first trips to Japan in our lives. But we also want to talk a bit about Hiroshima as well, or Western Japan too.
Yeah, Western
because
Japan.
A lot of people kind of miss it. I like to call it the B side.
It is the beast. This is my second or third trip to Japan destination. It's usually not.
It was my second as well.
Trip. Yeah.
Was on the list for me, but I'll get into that later on.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we'll talk about Japan in general. Maybe what the news is, what's happening out there.
Yeah.
Every now and then, you know what? Just be jealous and not jealous. Sorry. Just be what's the word?
Jealous.
Jealous.
Just be jealous,
No.
haters.
What's the word? Be selfish, not jealous.
There you go.
Just be selfish and talk about what we want to talk about.
Yeah.
Because our podcast,
And not yours.
you can listen. But if there's anything you want to talk about or any say,
about.
yeah. So you can find us on, again, Instagram at the Waiting Room JPN.
Or you can email us at thewaitingroomjpn@gmail.com or leave a comment. Leave a comment below for all of you people on YouTube and Rumble. I've always wanted to do that too. Leave a comment below.
I didn't get to say, I want to do the whole, yeah. So like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you're on YouTube. If you're listening on Spotify or any other podcast platforms, 5-star rating always helps.
Yeah.
If you find us interesting,
Leave a comment.
Leave
us a rating. Tell us what we're doing good. I don't want to hear about what we're doing bad.
Yeah.
We're still finding our footing. Be nice.
Episode number 1, I think we did okay.
I think it's all right.
There we go. I do also want to say a big shout out to the few people that were very supportive and helped us even leading up to episode 1. So, it really means a lot to the people that support you, even though you haven't even really started.
Because how many followers do we have on Instagram without having a single episode out?
Instagram, I think we're just over 50.
Without having an episode out.
So that's pretty good.
That's very, massive round of applause for all of you who have had faith in us and decided that.
You guys are awesome. Hopefully you'll stick with us, as we go along. And hopefully as things get, I don't know, if we get more busy and that. I am also thinking we'll get a few people on for a few interesting interviews, but
that would be fun.
It's going to be down the line.
That would be fun though. And I know I have a few people in mind that I would love to chat with, and I know that you have.
Same, yeah. I've got a bit of
chat with. We might be here in the studio. We're here in the studio today, but we might go, somewhere else, be on location.
I'm looking forward to that. So I've already got a few places for that set up, but that might be a little bit down the line. So until then, you're stuck with us in the studio.
Sorry.
But you know what? Until then, we'll speak to you next time.
Yeah, we'll see you next time here in the waiting room.
All right. Take it easy, guys.
Bye.